3, 2, 1.
Hello, Twitter, Astrid, Yanira. I'm Catalina Alvarez. I'm here. This is Unit 1, Step 2, Teaching, Promoting Teachers' Development. This is my requirement. I'm here with the teacher, Nelson Bolivar. Thank you for coming. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm going to interview about some strategies for us teachers to improve our work every day. So the first one is about teaching portfolio. First of all, can you tell us how long have you been teaching English and where are you teaching right now?
Okay, so I've been teaching English as a teacher of English for about 4 years, and currently I'm working for 2 universities, Airfield University and ITM University, both of them here in Medellin.
Okay, that's great. So during your 4 years of experience as a teacher, have you built up your teaching portfolio, and can you describe us some of its benefits?
Yes, of course, it's necessary to build up a teaching portfolio. So the benefits, there are many benefits of having a teaching portfolio, but I'm going to describe just a few of them.
Okay.
So first thing, I must say that I would like to compare the classroom with a jungle. Okay, so going to a classroom is like going to a jungle. But there are some differences depending on whether you have a teaching portfolio or not. So when you go to the classroom with a teaching portfolio, it's like going to a jungle with a map. And going to the classroom with our teaching portfolio is like going to the same jungle but with our map. So the first benefit of the teaching portfolio is that it can help with the tools that can to work on to do the things that the students need to improve their level of English.
Okay.
So that's one of the greatest benefits I think it has.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell us some features of your teaching portfolio?
Yes, of course. Mainly I have many documents within my teaching portfolio. So the first one is the syllabus of the course I want to teach. The first thing is like the roadmap for that specific course. The next thing I have is the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes the students have to reach during that specific course. I also have the grading system I need to use with my students, whether the kind of teaching is formative or summative. So depending on that, I have the different grading systems to use with them. And of course, the lesson plans. The lesson plans for the courses we need to choose in a specific level.
Okay, excellent. And the last question about teaching portfolio is have you shared your teaching portfolio with some of your colleagues? Have you ever shared?
Yes, I have to actually. I have to. As a manner of improving my teaching style and my work as a teacher. So in the places I work, I have to share my portfolio with my supervisors and my coordinators. Of course, with my peers and colleagues, but most of all with my supervisors for they to give me input and feedback on my teaching style, the things that I did during the entire course.
Okay, that's great. Okay, the second strategy is teaching journal. So the first question for you teachers, what is your concept of a teaching journal?
Okay, the teaching journal is like a best friend for every teacher who cares about his students or cares students, because through the teaching journal you can help not only yourself but also your students by recording all the information, the important aspects of every class. For example, there are some classes that are very successful, and on those days you can just you don't need to have a specific a blog or something like that. A notebook can be very useful. So you can just go to the piece of your room and start jotting or writing down the ideas that come up with your class. For example, what things you did well in your classroom and why that class worked well. So that can allow you to reflect on the process, because sometimes the same lesson plan works for a classroom but it doesn't work for a different classroom.
Yeah.
So it's also positive to have a record of the ideas, the things that worked well and the things that doesn't work well with specific groups, in order for you to review and to gain experience and improve your work. as a teacher.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And as teacher, do you keep a teaching journal, and what do you think its benefits are? But I think some of the, okay, this information you already gave,
Yeah.
you know, you already gave it to me. So, but anyway, do you have, so you actually have your teaching journal? Do you have it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And have you heard about electronic journals?
So you mean e-journals?
Yeah, that's right. Have you heard
Okay.
about them? Okay.
Of course.
My question is about, do you think this kind of journals facilitate teacher professional development, and how could it be? How could they improve or facilitate teacher professional development? These kind of e-journals.
Okay, so in my case, I use e-journals with communities, communities of teachers, so teaching the same levels and maybe teaching the same courses. So it helps you a lot in terms of saving time for your work, because you don't need to plan every lesson for every course you have. You just log into the platform or the system, the place you are sharing the documents, and you can just check and select those specific documents that can help you for that specific class.
Yeah, so it's really, so they facilitate our teacher
Yeah,
development.
a lot.
Okay, so yeah, thanks for the technology and electronic things. Okay,
Yeah.
getting ahead of these kind of things. Okay, so the last strategy is peer observation, and my question, I have 3 more questions for you, teacher.
Yeah.
Have you ever been observed by one of your peers while you were teaching, and how was it? How was the and what was the reason or the objective of this kind of observation?
Okay, very good. Yes, of course, I must say that every time I am observed by one of my peers.
Every
So,
time?
yes,
Yeah,
every
okay.
time, every time.
Okay.
I think it's good. It's good to have someone who can check the things that you do and how you do things in the classroom. I think that teaching is an ongoing process and a never-ending one. So, no teacher can say that can do everything perfect. Sometimes, as I told you before, so a lesson plan works well with a class, but is a disaster with a different class. So, by having peer review, as we call it here, peer review is a manner of having input to improve your teaching style and the way you teach things and help people learn a foreign language. In this case, like is the situation in Colombia.
Okay, very good. And when you were peer observed, did you feel intimidated by his or her presence, or were you able to get ahead of this situation as a positive strategy for your teaching?
So now, in my case now, I take it as a natural process, because being observed by a colleague is like being observed by one of your students. So every time during every class, all your students are observing you. So the way you behave, the way you speak, the way you move. So having someone external doing the same shouldn't be an obstacle for you to have a relaxed and positive lesson.
Okay.
I think it's, yeah, so peer observation is well welcome in my case.
Okay, and finally, have you ever observed one of your peers, and what was the result of it?
Okay, yes, I have many times. It's part of the process, not only being observed, but also observe someone else. And I think that the results have always been positive. Positive because when you are observing someone, it's not for you to correct things, to criticize things. It's for you to adjust things and share information. As I told you before, nobody is perfect, so we can say I teach the perfect classes all the time. So having a different person observing you can help you improve. Both people are improving. The person being observed because it's having the feedback, and the person observing because it's learning new things that maybe the person never thought about when he or she was alone on his own.
No, that's great. It was a very, very detailed answers. Thank you, teacher, for being here with us.
Thank you.
No, and thank you, teacher. Okay, so see you next time, maybe, teacher.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.